Hi guys. Oh, this is cool. Okay. So today we're going to be learning about one-step equations. Okay. Many of you guys have started this in 8th grade, but this is one of the most important tools and topics we learn in high school. Okay. This is the foundation for doing the rest of math in high school. Okay. So it's really, really, really important that you guys follow along and take good notes and kind of just follow along and see what we're doing. All right, let's see how this works. All right, solving one-step equations. Isn't this background so cute? I love it. All right, so I would like you guys in your notebook, let's write down the title, solving, I don't like that, one-step equations. And let's write down today's date. Tricky part. It might be on Tuesday, it might be on Thursday. So just write down the date, whatever date it is you're watching this. Okay. So to solve one-step equations, what we're going to do is we're going to use inverse operations, okay? Think of the word inverse. There are lots of inverses in your everyday lives. Like for instance, if you're in your parents' car, or maybe your car, you press the lock button. It's locked. You can't get out. If you to undo it, you press the unlock button. Okay, so lock and unlock are inverses. Okay, so let's talk about what inverses are in math. So what are inverse operations? So let's say I'm adding something. The opposite of adding something is to take it away. So addition and subtraction are inverse operations. So when I want to do undo addition, I have to do subtraction. When I want to undo subtraction, I have to do addition. They go hand in hand. The inverse of multiplication is division. So again, if I want to get rid of multiplication, I have to do division. If I want to get rid of division, I have to do multiplication. Now, the last one is something you guys might not know. The opposite of an exponent is the root. Okay, now I'm going to write an example down because this is probably the one that we're going to use in 9th grade math. Okay, let's say I had x squared and I wanted to get rid of that squared, the exponent. What I would do is I would put a square root around it. And what that does, the square root gets rid of the exponent. Okay. In 9th grade, we're probably only going to use squares. So don't worry about to the 3rd power or anything like that. Okay. You guys wrote all of these down? Good. All right. So let's do our first 2 examples. Okay. I know it seems a little babyish, but it really, really, really does help. Even when I teach Algebra 2 honors, like what you guys would take in 11th grade, I still encourage my students to draw a river. So this river basically separates the equation into 2 separate parts, the left part and the right part. Our goal is to isolate the variable. So that means I need this x to be the only thing left on the left-hand side. Okay? So you have to ask yourself, what is making that x not alone? Okay? So look on the left-hand side. What's making that x not alone? The +7. So to undo the +7, I do the inverse. The opposite of +7 is going to be -7. Now let's see what happens. 7 minus 7 is 0, right? In math, I don't like writing the number 0, so I'm just going to cross that off. Okay? Now the only thing I have left on my left-hand side is the x, which is great because that's what I wanted to remove and get alone. Now, I have to perform the operation on the right-hand side. 10 minus 7 is 3. And that's my final answer. X is equal to 3. Now, many of you guys probably could have just done this in your head without subtracting 7 on both sides, because what the original equation is saying, they're basically like, what number plus 7 is 10? You guys should be able to tell me 3 off the top of your head, but I'm starting off really small and basic because it's these types of things that you guys mess up once we get more advanced, okay? So I really just want to start off really slow and easy. All right, let's look at number 2, example number 2. This says 2 times x is equal to 6. So again, what is making the x not alone? What's making it not alone? The 2, right? So I have to ask myself, what is the operation going on between 2 and x? And that is multiplication, okay? So what's the inverse of multiplication? Division. So I'm going to divide, oh, I didn't mean to do that. I'm going to divide by 2 on the left-hand side, and then I'm also going to divide by 2 on the right-hand side. Now, 2 divided by 2 is 1, but again, when I'm doing, like, I don't want to write 1x, so it's way better just to write x. Then 6 divided by 2 is equal to 3. Now, I promise you, not all the answers will be 3. Okay. All right. Let's keep going. All right. Again, I need to get my variable alone. So, look at my highlighted part. What's making the highlighted part not alone? This negative 15. Okay. Now, a lot of you guys are going to say, that's a negative, but it's kind of a subtraction. Negative and subtraction are the same thing. So what's the opposite of negative 15? Positive 15. So I'm going to add 15 on both sides. Again, they cross off to 0, so I'm just left with n is equal to, now be careful, this says negative 9 plus 15. Negative 9 plus 15 is a positive 6. And that's all. Okay, let's keep going. Now, this one is kind of like example number 2. This one says negative 15 times x. So what's the opposite of multiplying by negative 15? The opposite would be dividing by negative 15. Whatever I do to one side, I also have to do to the other. This goes away. Now, 0 divided by negative 15. 0. All right, I picked that example because a lot of you guys might say negative 15, but 0 over any number is always going to be 0. Okay? Let's keep going. All right. Let me highlight. Okay, so now sometimes the variable is going to be on the right-hand side. It's not always going to be on the left-hand side. So you just got to, it doesn't matter. Does not matter. Don't move anything. Just leave it the way it is. We're just going to work now on the right-hand side. What is making this x not alone? The minus 15. What's the opposite of minus 15? Oh, I always do that. Plus 15. Okay. Now this is going to go away. I have x on the right-hand side. Negative 17 plus 15 is a negative 2. Okay. Now, number 6, I have x divided by 3. X divided by 3. So, what is the opposite of dividing by 3? That should be a little bit more. I don't know why it's not like that. The opposite of dividing by 3 is going to be multiplying by 3. So 3 divided by 3 is 1, so I'm just left with x. And then negative 3 times 3 is a negative 9. Are we okay? All right, let's keep going. Now, this one's crazy. Okay, this one says y squared is equal to 144. So remember when we took notes earlier, the opposite of squaring something is square rooting something. So I just need to get rid of that exponent of 2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a square root around both sides. Now, the 2 and the square root cross each other out. They would like eliminate each other. So then the only thing left on the left-hand side is going to be y. Now, the square root of 144. Does anybody know what the square root of 144 is? 12. Okay. Now, we're going to do one more of each type, and then you guys are going to work on your own, okay? What I'm going to do, because I think it's helpful, especially for you guys who are like visual people, I'm going to highlight all of the variables. Because that tells you where to start. You're always going to start on the side where your highlighted term is. I'm going to draw my rivers. Okay. Number 8 says m plus 12 is equal to 10. That means I'm going to subtract 12 from both sides. 10 minus 12 is negative 2. And again, use your calculator if you need to, okay? Next, number 9 says g minus 9. So what's the opposite of minus 9? Plus 9. Negative 2 plus 9 is 7. All right, move this up a little bit. Nope, I can't move it up. Let's do a little pink here. All right, so number 10 says negative 7 times y. Okay, just remember whenever you have a number and a variable touching, that's multiplication. Okay, that's very, very important that you guys know that. So to undo multiplication, I divide. Now, please make sure you guys are using the fraction bar as your division symbol. Don't write this. We're in high school. We don't do that anymore. Okay? The negative 7s go away. I have y equals negative 91 divided by negative 7. That's going to give us a positive answer because it's a negative divided by a negative. And then 91 divided by 7 is 13. Okay, please make sure you guys are writing all of this down. All right, number 11, the last one. This one says a divided by 9. What's the opposite of dividing by 9? Multiplying by 9. So the 9s go away, and I have a is equal to negative 36. And that is all. Please feel free to watch this video over and over and over again until you guys get everything. Now go do your assignment. Bye.